עוד נקודת אור באולפן, מישהו שהוא לא יהודי, הוא לא ישראלי, הוא עדיין תומך בנו, למרות כל הבקלאש שהוא מקבל ברשתות החברתיות. דניאל ריין ספולדינג, hi, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you, Alexandra?
I'm great. I'm great. Thanks for asking, and thanks for being here with us today in this cold day in Israel.
Well, it's always lovely to be in Israel. Thank you for having me.
Okay, so you've mentioned always great to be here in Israel. How many times have you been in Israel already?
Well, I am not Jewish and I'm not Israeli. I grew up in Canada and I lived in Europe for many years. I'm a stand-up comedian and I was living in Europe doing comedy. And I lived in Berlin for 5 years and that's where I met Israelis. And so I started visiting here and doing shows here. I've probably come maybe, 10 times over the past 5 years. So I am a big supporter of Israel and the Israeli people.
10 times in Israel, this is the 10th or the 11th? You can't even count. So you're local, you have a G membership, local favorite bar, all of that.
Yes.
So you said that you met some Israelis in Berlin. That is the point, the turning point, you felt the connection to Israel?
I was going through hard times in my life. I was once over 400 pounds. I was 192 kilos. And I ended up, I had a drinking problem. And a lot of my friends, my Jewish friends, my Israeli friends, they really helped me through it. And I ended up losing 100 kilos. And obviously now I'm very skinny. And so I always have felt a real connection to my Israeli friends. And I learned so much about the country and about the conflict from them. And so after October 7th, when I saw the horrible amounts of anti-Semitism and the amount, just a massive amount of propaganda against Israel and the subversion of the West, I did a video very shortly after October 7th confronting these activists who are pro-Hamas, and that video sort of went viral, and I ended up sort of becoming an accidental activist, and I've been doing work with the hostage families. I moved to New York shortly after October 7th, just by coincidence. And so I've been living in New York and trying my best to help advocate for Israel in the West.
So it's not trivial, and it's an understatement to be an activist, pro-activist, pro-Israeli activist. I assume you got a lot of backlash on Instagram.
Well, I'm a stand-up comedian, so I obviously, I think some of the best people who are standing up against the IRGC and against terrorism are either comedians or Iranian rappers, because there's a certain amount of license that you have as a comedian to boldly express yourself and to do so fearlessly. For me, I know that in the long run, the truth will ultimately prevail because this pro-terror movement is so unhinged that eventually people who do have some sense of good versus evil will look for alternate sources and the information will be there for them.
But however, it seems like most of the comedians, stand-up comedians that are popular, internationally popular, always seem to pick up the other side.
Well, I think that counterculture has sort of gone too far. There is this idea of counterculture always being the cool, prevalent, dominant force in culture, but now we've seen how dangerous it's become and how unhinged it's become. And I think that with this sort of eventual cultural swing towards the right, or more so just to the center of liberal values and Western values, that will change as well. But definitely Dave Chappelle has been a complete raging anti-Semite. He's in Nation of Islam. And also there's been a lot of anti-Zionist comedians in New York. Jon Stewart has been he's basically a communist. And Alana Glazer has taken up the anti-Israel sentiment. Like it's sort of cool and trendy.
It's cool and trendy. That's
to buy into this propaganda, but ultimately Israel has been forced into a war, and it's really a war that's about the future of Western civilization. And I think anyone with a heart, when you learn about the hostages and their families and the horrible situation that Israel is in with Hezbollah and Iran, the IRGC and all these proxies trying to destroy the entire nation, I think that ultimately Israel will prevail when the information is out there for people.
So how much time you spend arguing with pro-Palestinian comments on Instagram each day?
Well, ultimately, most people have sort of blocked me or tuned me out. People are very deeply in denial about the issue. So I just decided to trooper through and learn as much as I can, and just sort of be a light for people and be a leader for people who might be afraid to speak out against terrorism, which I know we should all feel emboldened and okay in the Western world to be against terrorism. A lot of people just don't know enough about the conflict. They think that it's a back and forth thing when really it is Israel in a fight for its survival. And we should all, if we care about freedom and democracy and secular values, we should all be standing with Israel.
I saw on Instagram you've been on a tour in Judea and Samaria. It's very controversial, unfortunately, around the world. What kind of responses did you get?
For the most part, it was pretty positive. I really wanted to go for an educational purpose. A lot of people don't really understand what Judea and Samaria is all about and how, under the Oslo Accords, the different territories work. What people don't realize, especially with the anti-Israel propaganda, is that what people see is a very small amplification of a problem that is between maybe a few hundred people. A lot of it is about shepherding and people building little huts and lands in different areas and zones. But that's what a lot of people think Israel is. Israel is a country of 10 million people, and in every nation there's going to be some people who are extremists and who are wackos, but it's a very, very small issue and a very small conflict that is amplified, especially by far-left Israeli activists. Quite often they're handing these anti-Israel propagandas the propaganda they need to delegitimize your country. So it's really important to put that into perspective as a small issue.
And now you're gonna stay for months here in Israel,
yes,
right?
Yes, it will be.
Tel Aviv.
Yes.
Almost a citizen.
In the Viv, I call it. I call it the Viv.
The Viv.
Yeah, with all the beautiful, sexy Israeli men. All my IDF, safe and sound with my IDF soldiers.
Are you considering to move to Israel?
I don't know.
Maybe.
We'll see if I can get a nice Jewish boy. We'll see.
So we'll gather all the comments we'll get and transfer it for you. So you're gonna try a new material in front of the Israeli audience. Explain us why the Israeli audience is so unique.
Well, I think that even though Israelis are facing an incredible amount of tragedy right now, they still have a love of life and a will that, you can't break them. Like, the harder you hit them, the stronger they get. And so it's important to laugh at these times, and it's important to, to be able to, feel that joy. And so I definitely have been working on this new show, which talks a lot about these political issues, and I hope to tour it overseas and throughout America. So I just wanted to gain some confidence in the show while I'm here.
So you're gonna have 2 shows in March. Can you elaborate?
Yeah, 22nd and 27th at the LGBT Center in Tel Aviv, and I'll probably be doing some more as well.
And the Israeli audience, the Israeli people love to joke about everything, even the serious stuff. Have you picked up any Israeli humor?
Well, Israeli humor is unique. It's special. I do, sassy gay guy pro-Israel comedy, so that's more my thing. I make fun out of the pro-Hamas lesbians a lot. I had to deal with them living in New York. It was a nightmare. I need a break.
Okay, of course. So have you picked up any Israeli words? What can you notice?
I'm really bad with languages.
Almost shalom, you know.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Yeah, there we go.
So, Daniel, Ryan Spaulding, shalom. Thank you so much for being here, and good luck with the new materials.
Thank you. No problem.